Welcome back to Motivation Library. Today we're diving deep into As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Now you might be thinking, isn't that like a little old school for 2025?
It might be over a century old, but honestly, this book is packed with wisdom that's just as powerful today as it was back then.
Right. It's incredible how relevant it still is.
Absolutely. I mean, this book has influenced so many people, leaders, entrepreneurs, you name it. There's a reason it's a classic. It gets to the heart of human potential.
It really does. So Allen's main idea is that your thoughts, they actually shape your reality. And he uses this really cool metaphor to explain it. He says the mind is like a garden.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, just picture it, right? What you plant in that garden, it grows. Neglect it and you get weeds. But if you cultivate it, you get beautiful flowers and delicious fruit.
I love that analogy. It makes you think about what you're planting in your own mental garden right now, doesn't it?
It really does.
Like, are your thoughts helping you grow and blossom, or are they kind of holding you back?
That's such a good question for everyone listening to ask themselves. And Allen doesn't stop there. He goes on to say that we don't attract what we want.
We attract what we are.
Exactly. That sounds a little intense at first. Like, are we really responsible for everything that happens to us?
Well, I don't think it's about blame. It's more about understanding that our thoughts, they create a kind of energy, and that energy attracts similar energy back to us.
Okay, so like a magnet.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's say someone is constantly complaining about their job, but they really want a better one.
Right.
Are they really aligning themselves with success by doing that?
Probably not. Their thoughts are focused on what they don't want, so they're actually keeping themselves stuck.
That makes a lot of sense.
Alan actually gives an example in the book about a person who wants to be wealthy, but all they ever think about is how much money they don't have.
Oh, wow.
It's like they're pushing wealth away with their own thoughts.
So what should they be doing instead?
They need to shift their focus. They need to start thinking about abundance, about opportunity.
Easier said than done, right? I mean, it's easy to get caught up in wishful thinking. But how do we actually make that shift?
That's a great question, and Alan talks about that too. He's very clear that we need to move from thought to action. It's not enough to just wish for things to be different. We have to actually take steps towards our goals.
So it's not just some airy-fairy concept.
No, not at all. This is where it gets really practical. He's giving us a roadmap, a way to actually create the life we want.
I like that.
He really emphasizes setting a clear purpose and then working towards it, like with complete focus.
I mean, does this have to be some huge, massive life goal?
Not necessarily. It could be something small, like learning a new skill, improving a relationship, or even breaking a bad habit.
So the key is to have something that motivates you.
Exactly. Something that gives you direction.
And once you have that, then you go for it, full force.
Exactly. Unwavering focus. That's what Alan talks about.
I love that. It makes personal growth seem much more, I don't know, attainable. So we've got the mind as a garden, and we need to make sure our thoughts and our goals are aligned. But here's where things get even more interesting. Allen didn't just stop at success and wealth. He connected our thoughts to our physical health.
Now, that's fascinating. Yeah, he was way ahead of his time. He believed that negative thoughts could actually make you sick. Like all those feelings, fear, anxiety, anger, they create so much stress.
And we know what stress does to the body.
It weakens the immune system, leaves you vulnerable.
And the crazy thing is, science is proving him right. All these studies are showing how stress directly impacts our health.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about what's bad for us either. Things like mindfulness and meditation, they can actually make us healthier.
It's like our bodies are a reflection of what's happening inside our minds.
It's like a mirror, you know?
Showing us exactly what we're holding on to.
Makes you think twice about those negative thoughts, doesn't it?
It really does.
If we're constantly filling our minds with negativity, it's got to show up somewhere.
And that's not all.
Alan also talked about how positive thoughts can, help us heal.
Oh, interesting.
Cultivating a peaceful mind, focusing on things you're grateful for, finding joy.
Can that really make a difference?
He believed it could.
There's actually a whole field of science now called psychoneuroimmunology. It's all about the link between thoughts, emotions, and the immune system.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It's amazing how much our mental state can influence our physical health.
Really is.
It's like everything's connected to our thoughts, our emotions, our physical experiences. It's all woven together.
Totally.
You know, I got to say, I'm a sucker for a good success story, and Allen has some pretty inspiring ones in the book.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
He talks about these great achievers, people who really made a difference, and he says they're all dreamers at heart.
They have a vision, right?
Exactly. They have this vision, and they just don't let go of it.
I love that.
There's this one example that really stood out to me. It's about this young guy. He's working in a factory, long hours, tough job, but he has this dream of a better life. And through hard work, pure effort, he actually changes his life.
Wow.
It's incredible. It shows the power of believing in yourself, even when things are tough.
It's funny. It's not just about dreaming, is it? It's about taking action.
Right. He didn't just sit around wishing for things to be different.
He made it happen.
Exactly.
Alan is really clear about that. Our thoughts, they're the blueprint, the plan.
Okay.
But our actions, those are the building blocks. You need both to really change things.
That makes sense. But speaking of action, Alan also talks about taking responsibility for our choices.
Oh, interesting.
He says we got to stop blaming everything else, our boss, the economy, bad luck.
And start looking at ourselves.
Exactly.
That's tough, though, isn't it?
It is. It's way easier to blame other things when things go well.
It's comfortable.
But Alan says that kind of thinking, it keeps us stuck. It stops us from seeing that we actually have the power to change things.
So true empowerment comes from taking ownership.
Even when it's hard.
Especially when it's hard.
So how do we actually do that? How do we go from blaming others to taking control?
Well, Alan says we start by focusing on what we can control, our thoughts and our actions.
We can't control everything that happens to us.
Nope.
But we can control how we respond.
And that all starts with our thoughts.
So if we can be resilient, if we can be determined, if we can stay positive, we're much more likely to overcome challenges and reach our goals.
It's like building this inner strength, this resilience, like a fortress that can handle anything.
I like that.
And it all comes from understanding that our thoughts, they have power.
They really do.
They can build things up, but they can also tear things down.
Which is why having a clear purpose is so important.
Right. Like Alan says, without a goal, we're like a ship lost at sea, just drifting around at the mercy of the wind and waves.
And that's when we start to doubt ourselves, get scared, and fall into negativity.
Exactly.
But when we have a purpose, it's like having a compass. It guides us, keeps us on track.
And it doesn't have to be some big life-changing purpose either. It could be as simple as wanting to be a better friend, learn a new language, or just live a happier life.
It's about finding something that truly motivates you.
Gives your life meaning.
Exactly. And once you have that, Alan says you go after it with everything you've got.
Unwavering focus.
He talks about concentration. Training our minds to stay focused on what we want.
Takes discipline, though, doesn't it?
It does.
It's about saying no to all those distractions.
All those things that try to pull us off course.
It's like creating this mental laser beam.
Cutting through all the noise and clutter.
Straight to the target.
And that laser beam, it's powered by our commitment to our purpose.
That's a powerful image. And, this whole idea of self-control, it's a big theme in As a Man Thinketh.
It is.
Alan believed that if you want to achieve anything, you got to master yourself.
Be in control of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions.
The people who can do that, they're the ones who really succeed in life.
It's not about ignoring our feelings or pretending we don't have desires.
Right. It's about learning to channel them.
Using them in a positive way.
Becoming the master of our minds, not slaves to our impulses.
Easier said than done, right?
It takes practice. It's a journey.
A journey of self-discovery and growth.
And Alan encourages us to take that journey with courage, with determination, and with a belief in our own potential.
Because, as he says, man is made or unmade by himself.
Powerful words.
It's a challenge to take responsibility for our own lives. So as we continue this deep dive into As a Man Thinketh, we're going to explore more of his ideas about how to create a life of success, happiness, and fulfillment. Welcome back to Motivation Library for the last part of our deep dive into As a Man Thinketh.
It's been quite a journey so far.
It has. And there's one thing from the book that's really been sticking with me. Alan's idea about the connection between thought and achievement.
Oh, yeah. What about it?
Well, he says, and I'm quoting here, all that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts.
Wow.
Pretty powerful, right?
It really puts the responsibility on us.
It does. It's saying that success or failure isn't about luck or circumstances. It's all about our mindset.
And that applies to everything, right?
Everything. Careers, relationships, personal growth. It all starts in our minds.
So if you want to achieve great things, you got to start by thinking great thoughts.
Exactly. Cultivating that belief in ourselves. Having a vision of what we want to accomplish.
Like a blueprint.
Right? Alan uses this example of a sculptor. He says before a sculptor can create anything, they have to have a clear image in their mind of what they want to sculpt.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it's the same for us. We need a vision for our goals, and then we focus our energy on making them happen.
But it's not just about positive thinking, is it? You got to take action.
You got it. Alan says thought without action, it's like a seed without soil. It can't grow.
So we have to take those thoughts and turn them into steps, into something real.
And that takes discipline, perseverance, and a willingness to step outside our comfort zones.
Embrace the challenges.
Exactly. Alan says there could be no progress, no achievement without sacrifice. It's about pushing ourselves, testing our limits.
And that can be scary.
It can. But Alan says we have to face our fears head on.
He says fear is often an illusion.
A product of our own negative thinking.
And when we confront those fears, we realize they're not as big as we thought.
They lose their power.
And in that process, we gain confidence and resilience.
The stuff we need to achieve our goals.
One thing that really resonated with me in the book was his talk about dreams and ideals.
Oh, too.
He says the dreamers are the saviors of the world.
That's beautiful.
It really is.
It reminds us that our imagination is a powerful tool. Alan believes that dreams aren't just fantasies. They're glimpses of what we can achieve, like seeds of future realities.
I like that.
And he encourages us to hold on to those dreams, to give them space to grow.
Because, as he says, to desire is to obtain, to aspire is to achieve.
Powerful stuff. But again, it's not enough to just dream. We have to take action.
Make them happen.
And that's where purpose comes in. It's what pushes us forward, what guides our path.
And on that path, we're going to hit bumps, right?
Oh, absolutely. Obstacles, setbacks, they're part of the journey.
Alan says failure isn't the opposite of success.
It's a stepping stone.
A chance to learn, to grow, to come back even stronger.
Exactly. And through all of that, through the ups and downs, Alan says it's important to cultivate serenity.
Inner peace.
Of course. He says calmness of mind is one of the most valuable things we can have.
Especially in today's world.
Right, with all the chaos and uncertainty, serenity helps us stay grounded, focused.
It helps us make better decisions.
Respond to challenges with grace and composure.
It's like a superpower.
It is. And Alan suggests this simple practice. When you're feeling overwhelmed, just repeat the phrase, peace, be still.
That's nice.
It's a way to quiet the mind, to reconnect with that inner peace.
And the more we cultivate serenity, the more resilient we become, more compassionate, more effective.
In all areas of life.
I like that.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into As a Man Thinketh, remember this. Your thoughts have power. They can shape your reality.
Choose them wisely.
Cultivate positivity, purpose, and serenity. And don't be afraid to dream big.
Because, like Ellen says, you will become as small as your controlling desire, as great as your dominant aspiration.
That's a great quote to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of As a Man Thinketh. We hope you found some valuable insights here, something to help you create a life filled with meaning and purpose.
And until next time, keep thinking, keep growing, and keep shining your light.
See you next time.